I remember my good Thank you. Yeah, I know, yeah.
I'm here with Congresswoman Yvette Clarke.
In the house.
She's here in Brooklyn.
Yes,
She's running again for re-election.
I know.
Representing New York State and New York City in Congress. And there's her mother, Una Clarke, who I used to work for at the Friends of Crown Heights.
Yeah.
So it's my pleasure and honor. I'm here today in support of a dynamic woman, a woman and a leader in our community that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. She's been fighting for us for over 10 years as our Congresswoman, and some of the things that she has been doing is protecting immigrants, expanding healthcare, fighting for seniors, combating gun violence, amongst other things. And it's my pleasure and my honor to introduce to some of you and a woman that, someone that I really look up to, and she speaks truth to power. And she has a heart of gold, and she loves to help people. So, with no further ado, I bring to you our Democrat at home in Washington, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Nicole. Where's Noemi and Patsy? Come on over here, ladies, because this would not have come together without these sisters. And Gloria. Where's Gloria?
Gloria. Come, Gloria.
Come on, look at her. She's sitting right in front of me. These women have been the wind beneath my wings. Many of you know that I have a very strong bond with the Panamanian community here in Brooklyn. I've always boasted about the fact that we're all blended together. My grandfather on my father's side, which is why I'm Clarke with an E, was born in Panama.
Wow.
His family decided to go back to Jamaica after both meeting there to help build the canal. But I've always treasured the fact that Panama is a part of my history, a part of who I am. And the Panamanian community in Brooklyn has been a huge part of building Brooklyn and, quite frankly, raising me. When my parents first came to the United States, there was a woman named Ivy Young who lived on Sterling Place, and she was my nana. She raised me from before I knew myself until the time that I actually knew myself. And Nana was from Panama. So there has been a long-standing commitment to who we are as a people, and most of the Panamanians that I've met are either have a Jamaican grandparent or Jamaican or Bayesian grandparents, and so that blends and ties us together in so many ways. But I'm really happy to be here, and I want to thank these women once again for coming out of their comfort zone, for calling their friends, for arranging for this wonderful presentation for us this evening, because you all are the inspiration for the work that I do in Washington, D.C. I tell everyone that fighting for this community is a labor of love because I was born and raised in this congressional district. My Sunday school teachers were Panamanian at St. Gabriel's Episcopal Church. And so, again, throughout my life, there have just been key individuals that have been a part of my extended family. And so when I go to Washington, D.C. to fight, it's with all of you in mind. Right now, as you all can see, Washington, D.C. is a very toxic place these days. My goodness, 45 is sending everyone for a loop. And the Republicans in the House of Representatives have no spine, no backbone. They see wrongdoing and they turn a blind eye to it. What is happening in terms of immigration in the United States of America is a shame and a disgrace to who we are as a nation. We see people traversing, leaving everything they know, traversing Central and South America to get to the border of the United States, only to be told that if they come in, their children are going to be taken from them after they risk their lives to get refuge here in areas where they're bombarded with violence. Their lives are threatened on a daily basis. I think about the diversity of this constituency, those who have come from the Caribbean, those who have come from around the world, and who have looked to us as this nation as a guiding light to be able to come and be a part of their own American dream, which is the American dream that built these communities that we live in today. And we have someone the likes of a Donald Trump who's had at least 2 foreign-born wives standing in the way of human decency. And so I'm there to get in their face each and every week to pass legislation that would give us recognition for what we do in this nation, how we build our communities, and how we want to keep our families together. You know, this nation has a horrible past, and we know, built on slavery, our families were split up and dispersed around the world. And to think that here in the 21st century, we are facing the prospect of families being separated once again is a disgrace. But I tell you, the status quo today cannot hold. What Donald Trump is doing will not hold. And so we have to be ready for the breakthrough. And I think women are leading the way. Hello, ladies. There is no doubt about it that women have been exercising their right to vote, have been encouraging those in their families and their neighbors. We are the ones who have said, you know what, we have the most to lose. We get inferior pay to men in the United States of America. Men are constantly trying to tell us how to go about taking care of our health care needs, particularly white men. You know, it's time for us to stand up, and we are doing so. I was so proud to hear that it was the black women of Alabama that rejected that pedophile candidate that they tried to run for U.S. Senate. If it wasn't for the black women of Alabama, they redeemed that nation, that part of the country by coming out to vote in record numbers. 98% of all black women went out to vote and made the difference in that election. 98% of registered voters. I mean, that's as close to 100% you can get. Yes. But the men weren't so far behind. 93% of black men went out to vote to make sure that that man did not take office. So we have power. We have power, and we have to use it. And I want you to know that I don't take any of you or this community for granted. As I've stated, I was born and raised here. So the work that I do is giving back to the community that gave me so much, that gave me every opportunity, that shaped my values and what I stand for. And what I stand for is what the values that many of you brought to the United States with you as you came and made a way for your families. So I just want to thank our hosts for making this possible this evening. Let me say this. Black women lead the way in establishing small businesses in the United States of America. Of all of the various groups of people, black women, if we have to work from our house, we're going to make a way out of no way for our families. So I want to thank our business owners. Thank you so much for making this possible this evening, for creating opportunities for others. Because if we don't do it for ourselves, no one else is going to do it for us. And certainly what's happening in Washington, D.C., They are literally taking the food from people's mouths. Literally. Last week, we rejected a farm bill that would have required anyone who receives any supplemental nutrition assistance, food, to work before they can get any assistance. Can you imagine? People going hungry. And most people who are actually on assistance are working. But they're working minimum wage. They're not able to make ends meet. And we make sure that people don't go hungry in this country. But these wicked individuals in Washington, D.C., and I'm telling you, this is the classic battle. We don't have to get all intellectual about it. It's good versus evil. Mm-hmm. Good versus evil. When people get to the point where they will demonize and divide people based on race, based on gender, based on national origin, then you know that this nation is taking a turn in the wrong direction. In the wrong direction. So I want to go back and fight for you. I go each and every week, undergirded by a whole bunch of prayers. I'm surrounded by nothing but prayer warriors. So when I stand on the floor of the House, I feel as though I am 10 feet tall. And what I have to say on behalf of this community is respected by my colleagues. Because they don't see immigrants that look like me. Most people, particularly in other parts of the country, don't recognize that they are immigrants of African descent. And so a lot of the conversation that is taking place is not inclusive. And we need to make sure that we stand. And especially because Afro-Latino. Hello. Hello. You know? And right now, our Latino sisters and brothers are really, really, really struggling. Can you imagine you live in the United States over 25 years under temporary protected status? This man comes in one day and says, you from Honduras, you from Guatemala, you from El Salvador, go back home. These are people who bought homes, raised children and grandchildren, have businesses. And right now, they are under so much stress and anxiety because of what Donald Trump has done to demonize them. We need to stand with them. They need to know that we do not abide with that type of wickedness. And so I want to go back. I need your help. I need you to speak to everyone you know. Let them know that they must come out and vote on June 26th. It's an unusual day for an election because it's the last Tuesday in June. We don't typically have elections there, but I'm the only one on the ballot. That's the only one that will be elected at that time. So our people must come out then. That's the election that counts. It's the primary election, June 26th. And we need to get people out in record numbers because I'm being challenged for re-election this time around. And we need to make sure that our people understand how imperative it is right now. I have been in this Congress for 11 years. My seniority stock has risen. And so it is important that we use me now as a tool because we're going to take back the House of Representatives. Democrats will be in charge. Democrats will be in charge so that we can stop this madness and never return to this type of divisiveness, this type of nastiness in our nation. So let me again give hug and kiss. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. To my sisters who brought us all together, let me acknowledge that I'm here with my mother, the Honorable Dr. Yvette Clarke. My mother is the trailblazer. You all know that. Yeah. And I'm not jealous. I know you love her more. But I'm working my way. I'm working my way. I'm working my way. I'm working my way. But what a blessing it is to have both my parents in my life at this stage of their lives. Mama is a one-woman re-election machine. She will get out there here on fire, reminding people to come out and vote. So please join Miss Yuna and encourage everyone you know. It is so very important. We want to send a message to Washington, D.C. that they can't intimidate us, they can't turn us around, that we mean business, that we want to make sure that we have opportunities for our children and our grandchildren. We paid our dues in America. And now it's time for America to work for us. God bless you, God keep you, God strengthen you in the days ahead. And thank you so very much for coming and being of support to me this evening.
Beautiful.
If anyone has any questions, any concerns, anything you want to know about in Washington, the floor is open.
And everybody here is a volunteer to walk your block and knock the doors and make sure that everybody knows.
Full campaign mode.
That's right. That's right. Make sure you knock on doors and say to your neighbors. That's right.
Identify our voters. We're doing a whole lot of work to make sure that we can come home with a strong victory. We don't want no weak victory. Because next thing you know, everybody's going to want to jump up and run. No, we're not playing that. We're shutting it down. We're shutting it down. So please, make sure you sign up and get engaged. Oh, Judge Robin Shears has joined us. One of the most prolific judges in the city of New York, in Brooklyn, New York. Judge Robin Shears has joined us. And I understand that I'm supposed to be turning this program over to our judge. Looking beautiful. My mother called me first thing. I hope you have your red. It's Pentecost Sunday. Oh, that's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Here you are. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is my honor and my privilege to present to some and introduce to others one of Brooklyn's finest.
Yes.
She not only administers justice to our community, but I've seen her work with other judges, teaching them how to interface with community, how to give back to community. And it is just so wonderful to see a black woman when you enter the courtroom, one who shares our shared experience, who understands what our families go through. So let me say this. She's a fair judge. She knows the good about our people, and she knows the bad about our people. You can't pull nothing on her. So get your story straight before you go before Judge Robin Shears. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor once again, Judge Robin Shears.
To God be the glory.
Yes.
To God be the glory. I tell you, this has been a Pentecost Sunday.
Yes.
Early this morning, the judges of the we have an organization called Judicial Friends in the court. All the judges are color. And we were at Christ Fellowship Baptist Church for our annual judicial sermon. So every year we get together, we go to different boroughs. Brooklyn was the borough for our 40th anniversary. They've been doing this for 40 years.
Wow.
So judges, the court officers, the clerks, all of us.
Beautiful.
And the woman who is presenting this fashion show today, she's a retired member of our clan. Miss Viola Jefferson. She was there for over 30 years, I believe. Over 30 years. Started as a
You don't look it. You must have started when you were a kid.
about 12. And she stayed there for over 30 years. She started as a court officer, and she worked herself up to senior clerk, and then she retired. She left us in good hands, so we thank you. And then she went on to pursue her real passion, and that's fashion, because she was always wild. She couldn't get out that uniform fast enough, so she could wear her fine clothes. So Viola Jefferson, I thank you for all your years of service with the court system. And again, my name is Judge Robin K. Shears, but I'm here to help my friend Viola, help our friend Congresswoman Yvette Clarke.
Thank you.
And Mother, I see you back there looking flowers to have. But I got home, I brought along one of my favorite hats from one of the designers that's here. Matthews.
Matthews
I
hat.
brought my
Oh,
favorite.
wonderful.
So we ready to begin? Okay.
All
Let's do
right.
some music. Some drum rolls.